Hello and welcome. This is my first video about my ACDF 4-level fusion. It's about 5 weeks out now. I'm going to go over a little bit of my story here. If you're clicking on this, you're probably in the same boat. So hopefully I can answer some questions. Right now, I just kind of am getting used to the news of all this. We're doing 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 7, and 7 to 1. So that's C to the top of T. So I was about 120 pounds heavier in 2014 when I first had neck problems. Injured myself, kind of just playing hard in the ocean on a vacation. Had a stiff neck in the right side that lasted about 6 weeks before I saw a doctor. Through that, we kind of did the standard x-ray, to an MRI, and I had some bulging disc and what I thought was extensive pain at the time. We managed to, through physical therapy and epidural ablations, facet blocks, kind of get rid of that. It wasn't really until I had physical therapy that it straightened out completely, and honestly just one day the pain went away and it was gone. And I kind of wrapped up with the doctor, and that was that. So fast forward to 2020, the year that everybody has been struggling with. Late in the summer, I kind of started to have some neck pain, especially when I looked up in my shoulders. I would have a little bit of burning sensation, and that just kind of gradually started to get worse as the summer went into fall. Kind of the chronic stiff neck again, and so prior to, the doctor had told me once we got the all clear that things looked good. He said, you might have bought yourself a decade, but you do have some degenerative disc issues in there, so just take care of yourself and come back in if you see any more problems. So with that in the back of my mind, I kind of went over my previous notes I'd made and things like that I'd saved. Called the doctor. He has moved on to a different part of the country, so got in with the same healthcare system to a new doctor, and we kind of started the same process. X-rays, things looked about the same. I'm going to drop some of this in to the video for comparison or for somebody to read. So I said, well, physical therapy seemed to work last time. We can look at the injections and things like that. So we said, okay. So that was October, November, doing the physical therapy thing through the holiday season. I started getting some numbness, which was kind of new, and weakness, which I didn't really realize on the left side. I didn't really realize that it was weak until we went through some of the testing that I'll talk about, but the numbness would come and go, so I kind of I'd been taking some pills and things like that, doing the physical therapy, ice. I have an acupuncture type mat headrest thing I've been working on, and things were okay. And then on January 9th, I woke up with my hand like this, laying on my back. I woke up and I moved my hand, first thing I did, and I felt and heard an audible pop and immediate pain. Left hand side, down the tricep, down the arm, into my first 3 fingers, thumb and 2 fingers. Immediate 7-8 style pain. Had my wife take me to the hospital, went to the ER, and it was a Sunday morning, so they kind of just threw some pain meds at me, lidocaine patches, and kind of said, just to call and follow up with my doctor. And I was in just this horrible, agonizing pain. They sent me home with oxycodone and muscle relaxers, and it just didn't touch the pain. I could kind of maybe nap a little bit, but just agonizing pain. And then actually have somebody close by who was a chiropractor who took a look at it, and I had a bulge in my neck and a lot of inflammation, so he did a few things just to kind of see if he could get me back in place, and helped a little bit. but I just had searing, burning pain in my arm, and it just got worse as the night went on. Very little sleep, just trying to lay on the floor or anywhere where I could find any kind of relief, and it was impossible. So I did call the doctor, and I went for a physical therapy session the next morning where they kind of just did some tissue massage to try to calm those muscles down a little bit. I called the doctor, and thankfully they had a cancellation, and they got me in, and we got an epidural, which was pretty painful to get done. But once it was done, they said it could take a couple of weeks for the pain to go away. And I found ways to relieve myself, like the arm up here would relieve some of the pain. I couldn't sleep very well, especially on my side. And I later found out that the arm on the head was a classic, pinched nerve reaction to help relieve the pain. After a few weeks, though, the pain went away, but the numbness never went away. So I had a follow-up appointment about a month later. I've still been struggling, having trouble sleeping. I'd sleep, a couple hours in bed, and then I'd have to come out into the recliner and sleep with ice on, and that would kind of help me get through the night. So went to the follow-up appointment, kind of expressed that. They kind of did some looking at my strength and whatnot, and they sent me for an EMG, I believe it was called, procedure to test the nerves. So when they tested the nerves, that was not great. You're supposed to have like within 50%. So they do the good arm and the bad arm. I think my good arm was like a 9.5, and the bad was a 5.1. So he said, that was a little concerning about the ability to get the strength and get rid of the numbness, through any kind of intervention. So from there, they suggested an MRI. Got lucky again. There was a cancellation that night. So went through the MRI, and I kind of suspected that maybe something was going on when the person doing the MRI said, told me to be very careful and to call my doctor immediately the next day, which it was a Friday, so I couldn't necessarily call them the next day, but I kind of, between the previous tech with the EMG procedure and the MRI tech, they both kind of, I could just read concern in their face. So I got home from the MRI about 7:30 that night, and by 8 o'clock, the on-call neurosurgeon was on my phone asking me how things were, and I said, well, it's Friday night at 8 o'clock, and your doctor calling me, so that's probably not a good sign. And he said no. So I'll drop some of the test results, kind of in this video, but had a very bad MRI. So he immediately referred me to, get in with a neurosurgeon, because the previous person I was with was more with pain management. So we were gonna, he said unfortunately it looked like it was gonna have to be a surgical intervention. So called them, got in with a neurosurgeon, and they, very serious tone, immediately upon arriving, they said, for my age, I'm in my late 30s. They said it was a very poor MRI. I'll drop a picture of it in here. And they were honest when they said, my safety net's gone. So if any kind of an accident happened or whatnot, that it could result in some kind of a, paralysis. So we're definitely moving on with surgery, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. I had that appointment about 5 days ago. Here where I live at, it's the middle of winter. Been instructed not to drive in bad weather. Just to generally take care of myself, maintain, what I can do to stay safe and whatnot. And so that's where I'm at. It looks like surgery they've pushed out, somewhat emergent, to get me in about 5 weeks. And until then, I have to be careful with everything and report anything to the ED that changes. One thing I'll say is I'm not in a lot of pain. The numbness is still there. I do have some spasms and things like that. The searing, burning pain's gone now. 7-8 pain is down to a 1-2 pain at worst. So we'll see where we're at. I'm going to update this as the journey goes along here. We're going to do a CT scan as the next step to see how the ligaments and things are. They may have to go in through the front and the back. He said that was about a 50-50 thing. So we'll see how the CT scan. Of course, I'm hoping that we can just go through the front and knock this out that way. But otherwise, we're just going to kind of take things as they come. So I will update this. Hopefully this can help somebody out. We'll see you in the next video.